Virtual Space Tourism Flight. Space tourism company to launch revolutionary flights by 2024, but they won't come cheap. A space tourism company is looking to revolutionize the fledgling private spaceflight industry, with commercial flights to the stratosphere, unforgettable trips that are going to cost a pretty penny. The Arizona-based Worldview Enterprises has joined the growing ranks of companies set to give tourists a taste of space, launching off the back of Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic and Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin's first crewed flights this summer. The company will offer a thrilling though very different experience. The company, which formed a decade ago, says it will fly paying customers in rocketless balloons up into the stratosphere, the second layer of the atmosphere. The flights will carry people up to an altitude of about 18 miles, which at first glance is a far cry from what the company's competitors offer. There is no international agreement over where the Earth ends and space begins, but the majority of the world thinks the border of space is about 62. This is the so-called Kármán line, named after Hungarian-American physicist Theodor von Kármán. Blue Origin is presently the only company to offer brief flights above the line, soaring to about 66 miles high. There are exceptions to the rule, such as NASA and the U.S. Air Force, which consider space to begin just 50 miles up. By this standard, customers on Virgin Galactic's jaunts aboard the VSS Unity spaceplane get to earn their astronaut wings. Worldview Enterprises is, however, confident its rocketless journeys will be spectacular enough in its own right. From an altitude of 18 miles, the company said, customers will have a chance to see the experience won't come cheap, with seats on the company's balloons expected to go for $50,000. Each ride will last between 6 and 8 hours, though the company will also offer journeys that will last days, the planet's curvature, and experience the darkness of space. Vieria. The Vieria concept car is powered by electricity and seats 1. The sleek and short design should help this car get maximum mileage between fill-ups. The front of the Vieria filters the dirt and dust out of the air and release it in a clean and breathable form out the rear. The ultimate solution in transportation. These days, global warming is at its peak primarily due to air pollution. To get rid of these situations, Vieria helps to maintain a clean and eco-friendly city. It provides you with great driving ease and dynamic. The intake attached in the facade of Vieria inhales pollutants, dusts via the filter, and emanates clean air via the outtake, emitting anion. The filthy air that comes out of it passes through the air purification filter of Vieria, thus paving way for clean air. Vieria will certainly make the city clean and pleasant. Vieria was designed by students Kunwoon Kim and Suji Kim as an eco-friendly pod car that is also capable of cleaning dirty air. Audi Vista. City streets are becoming increasingly congested and pushing many citizens to consider smaller vehicle options, which is something the conceptual Audi Vista Roadster focuses on. Designed by Hyunsuk Moon, the transforming electric vehicle features 4 exposed seats to help the driver and the passengers to enjoy the surrounding landscape during their journey. Drivers can intuitively control the vehicle through the central console, while an autonomous mode allows for carefree trips. The vehicle functions in Roadster mode for driving on the open roads, and Segway mode to offer commuting capabilities on busy urban streets. The conceptual Audi Vista Roadster adapts to the changing lifestyle of consumers as they seek out ways to go about their daily routine, but also enjoy their leisure time out of the city. The student-designed car concept and 4-seater Audi Vista folds in the middle and transforms into a Segway to navigate crowded cities and cramped parking spaces. Master student Hyunsuk Moon reveals his car design brief as a 3,000mm vehicle for 4 people, signing his entry into the Audi-sponsored project as part of his second semester work in transportation design at Pforzheim University in Germany. So far, he has not yet placed a car roof and rather exposes the riders, which he believes is a means to fully enjoy the surroundings. Using a switch, the vehicle transforms from being a car to a Segway without propelling the riders from the seats, as the chair mechanism automatically adjusts to the folding. Eco-Dome. The Ecodome is an enclosed area on the surface of Mars. This is where the astronauts and all the other plants and animals you bring with you will be living while they are on Mars. It is important to have an enclosed area because conditions on the surface of Mars are very different from those on the surface of Earth. You are wondering how much do they cost? The base price for a growing dome greenhouse kit ranges from about $9,950 for a 15 feet diameter dome to about $47,450 for a 42 feet diameter dome. Delft Hyperloop VI. The Hyperloop is a super-fast means of transportation invented by Elon Musk. It consists of a Hyperloop capsule that travels through a vacuum tube which means there is almost no air resistance. Inside the tubes, the vehicles can reach speeds of over 1 km per hour, while being more energy efficient, environmentally friendly, and comfortable than airplanes. In this way, people could travel from Amsterdam to Paris in 30 minutes. To accelerate the development of the Hyperloop concept, SpaceX, Elon Musk's space company, organized a Hyperloop pod competition until 2019. In it, student teams from around the world were challenged to design and build a half-size Hyperloop pod to travel through SpaceX's 1.2 km low-pressure tube in California. The D-Dream team uses Carbon Webshop's high-performance carbon fiber tubes with an outer dimension of 35 mm and a wall thickness of 1.5 mm for the support structure of the Hyperloop pod. These round tubes are laminated from high-quality prepreg carbon fiber and epoxy resin. The fibers are oriented in 2 directions, providing the tube with optimal strength and stiffness combined with low weight and weather and chemical resistance. The high-performance carbon tubes are available directly from stock up to a length of 2,000 mm. They have an attractive carbon exterior, finished with a high-gloss or satin poo coating. The tubes are perfect to combine with the Refiflex carbon fiber tube connectors to create lightweight frames and structures. Pangeos Terayacht, Lazzarini Design has shared their latest concept, the itinerant floating city, comprising various hotels, shopping centers, parks, ship and aircraft ports, and all other facilities needed to house up to 60,000 guests in the middle of the sea. The turtle-shaped Terayacht was named Pangeos in honor of the supercontinent that existed millions of years ago during the late Paleozoic and early Mesozoic eras. Pangeos extends its length for 550 meters and measures 610 meters at its widest point, the wings. If created, the vessel will become the world's largest floating structure ever built. The hull is subdivided in about 30,000 cells and will be able to accommodate up to 60,000 guests. The vessel will become not only a floating city with gardens, swimming pools, malls, and yacht clubs, but also a floating 5-star resort with villas and apartments. The Pangeos is planned to be equipped with 9 HTS engines. Each motor is full electric, and it's capable of 16,800 horsepower each, obtaining the necessary energy from the various onboard energy sources. The megastructure will be able to cruise at 5 knots. While sailing, the large wings will gain energy from the breaking of the waves, and Pangeos will cruise perpetually without emissions around the planet Earth's seas. Further, the rooftop area is lined with solar panels, which provide part of the necessary clean energy to power the Terayacht, the design studio says. While it is proposed for Saudi Arabia, Lazzarini expects $8 billion to be invested in construction. HASSELL plus EOC presents Mars Habitat. HASSELL partnered with Eckersley O'Callaghan to design the external shell, which could be constructed entirely by autonomous robots using Mars' natural regolith to protect the astronauts from the radiation. This NASA competition sought perspectives from outside the traditional aerospace industry to explore how a human habitat could be designed and delivered on Mars using autonomous 3D printing technologies. Several substantial hurdles must be overcome for humans to survive in the harsh Martian environment. Perhaps most significant, the lack of a magnetic field and atmosphere leaves the planet's surface exposed to much higher levels of radiation than those on Earth. The robots would be sent to Mars a few years before astronauts are due to arrive. These intelligent autonomous robots will have interchangeable roles, from battery storage to scout rovers, logistics to excavation, and even 3D printing units, all integrated with multiple cameras and sensors for navigation. They can reconfigure themselves for a multitude of purposes, ensuring prolonged usage beyond the initial build phases. Once the astronauts land, they would rapidly construct the building's interior using a series of inflatable pods that incorporate all the living and working requirements for everyday life on Mars. The design moves beyond the idea of astronauts purely as operators to create a habitat where people will not only survive on Mars, but really thrive there. Responding to the challenge that every kilogram of equipment brought to Mars is hugely expensive to transport, astronauts would be equipped to repurpose and recycle as much waste material as they can. The workshop would therefore be one of the most important spaces in the habitat. The astronauts would be able to 3D print spare parts and tools, and recycle plastics and packaging into furniture and shoes. The fabric from the supersonic landing parachutes would be refashioned into clothes.